Dr. Murthy, how are you? So come forward. All come forward.
Swamiji, you'll have to excuse me just a few minutes early. I have an appointment with many people this evening.
Oh.
I'll try to convince to bring some temple, so I'll leave about 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock, you want to leave?
8 o'clock today.
That's all. This is microphone for speaking, like this. Hare Krishna. Huh?
Is that a good pitch? Not too high, not too low?
Hare Krishna. It has to be like this. Yeah, like. I can try. And this is also the same. Hare Krishna. So, just begin Kirtan. Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Kṛṣṇa Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Kṛṣṇaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti-yoga Saraswati Nam Shri Varshabhanadi Devi दैताय कृपा कृष्ण संबंध विद्यानंद गाने का हरे माधुर्योज्जन प्रमाज्या श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्तुतिः नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमते दीनदारिणी कृपानुगविरध्यापा सिद्धंताधंपहारिणी श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Śrīvāsadi Gaur Bhakta-yoga Shri Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Śrīvāsadi Gaur Bhakta-yoga Shri Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Prabhu Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Hare Kṛṣṇa Vinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem Kaho Sri Kṛṣna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Vishvasadi Gaur Bhakta ki jai, Shri Radha Kṛṣna Gopinath Sam Sundar Radha Kṛṣna Gopinath ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Gangarani ki jai, Yamunamai ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Ramita Bhakta ki jai. All glory to the eternal God. All glory to the eternal God. All glory to the eternal God. Thank you. There is no support. This is like this. That is nice.
It may go around the neck on a chain.
Great. Yes.
Yeah, this is fine. I'm gonna go for it.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We shall begin Bhagavad Gita. So, I request you to come regularly, so long I shall speak on the Bhagavad Gita. And from the very beginning, I shall try to make you understand the process of reading Bhagavad Gita and the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita by analytical study. I shall try to present. So, Bhagavad Gita is the science of God. Everything has scientific process of understanding. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Jnanam me paramam guhyam jad vijnana samanyata. Knowledge or science of God is very confident. This science is not ordinary science. It is very confidential. Jnanam me paramam guhyam jad vijnana samanyata. Vijnana means, B means specific. It is a specific knowledge. And it has to be understood by specific process. Generally, we understand, we acquire knowledge by direct perception, experimental knowledge, direct perception. But Bhagavad Vigyan, the science of God, is so extensive and so intricate that it is not possible to apply our imperfect senses to understand the science of God. then we have to understand with our senses, otherwise what is the meaning of understanding? Ah, yes. Therefore, these senses, when they will be purified, then we can understand. Just like a man cannot see due to some cataract complication, but if the cataract portion is surgically operated, he can see all. Treatment. Similarly, it is said in the Shastras that Atha Sri Kṛṣṇa namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya. Our senses are very imperfect. That we can understand. For example, we are daily seeing the sun glow, but our experience is just like a disk, because my eyes cannot see things placed in long distance, and neither can see which is very near, just like the eyelid is just attached to the eye, but I cannot see. This is imperfect. Neither we can see very close, neither we can see very long distance. Neither we can see in darkness. There are so many conditions. If those conditions are fulfilled, then our senses can act. Therefore, it is to be understood that our senses are imperfect. Therefore, Bhagavad says, Atah, therefore, Sri Kṛṣṇa namadi, Sri Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nama, Nam means his name, is the holy name. Adi, that is the beginning. To understand Kṛṣṇa is to begin chanting his name. Nama. Nam Adi. Adi means in the beginning. Therefore we recommend the students to chant Hare Krishna. Atha Sri Kṛṣṇa namadi. Nama means after you understand or realize Nama, then you will understand his quality, transcendental quality. When in the Vedic scripture, when it is said that the absolute truth is nirguna. Guna means quality, and ni means negative. And ni arthe, ni also used to ascertain. So nirguna can be used in two senses. The first sense is a negative, no guna, no quality. And the second is, it is difficult to assert. So both can be applied in the understanding of the absolute truth. How? First thing, he has no quality. He has no quality means he has no material quality. He has no material quality. In the Vedic literature, it is said that apanipada javanagruhita. The absolute truth has no hands or legs, but he accepts everything. Now, this acceptance, suppose if you are giving me something, if I accept, then it is supposed that I have got hands or I have got senses. So, when in the Vedic literature it is said that the absolute truth has no hand or leg, that means He has no hand and leg as we conceive in this material world. When you speak of hand, immediately I think my hand or your hand. But this is limited. So when we cannot adjust that God has got hand and also leg, in the Upanishad it is said that God, the Absolute Truth, Brahma, can walk so fast that even air cannot go so fast. In this way, there are descriptions. So that means, as stated in the Brahma Samhita, that Ishvara Parama Kṛṣṇa Sachidananda Vigraha. He is form, he has got form, undoubtedly. But his form is different. The Mayavadi philosopher, whenever they think of form, they think in terms of his own form. That is the difference. Therefore, it is said in the Bhagavad, Atha Sri Kṛṣṇa Namadi. Sri Kṛṣṇa Nam is not ordinary Nam. Name. Nam means name. Sri Kṛṣṇa Nam is transcendental, absolute. There is no difference between the name and the person and object. Here there is difference. The name and the object is different. Water and the name water and the substance water different. I cannot satisfy my thirst simply by chanting water, water. But by chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa, I can realize God. That is the difference. Therefore, we have to purify our senses. These senses will give you opportunity to hear his transcendental name, to see his transcendental form, to understand his transcendental quality, and so many. He has got his name, he has got his quality, he has got his form, then he has got his associates, everything. Whatever we see in this material world, they are simply perverted reflection of the reality. Real form is there, real name is there in the spiritual world. Just like my name, such and such, your name, Mr. John. This John is not actually your name, because you are spirit soul, eternal. But this John name is in relationship with this temporary body. As soon as the name, as soon as this body is finished, this John name is finished. Then again, to take another body, you have got another name. Therefore, this is not your name. But Kṛṣṇa, his name, in the spiritual world and in this world is same. His name does not change. Tata Sri Kṛṣṇa Namani Namave Grahyam Indriyai Sevan Mukhihi Divhado, by service attitude. Swameva Spuratva. The name, form, quality, associate, when we are in service attitude, they become revealed to us. It is not that, just like we ask you, what is your name? So, if I ask God, oh God, what is your name? God is not subject to our such challenging. You see, he will not reveal his name. You cannot understand. If you want to know God by your challenge, that I can understand, I can see, therefore I shall see God, then I will, you will never see. You will never see. God is not under your challenge. Therefore the qualification of understanding God is surrender. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam. And the process of understanding God is from God, not from others. He is so great. How can you understand by your mental speculation? So, here in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is revealing himself by his causeless mercy. So, how does he reveal? We shall try to explain from the fourth chapter. Imam vivastate yogam prattamana hamabhyam vivasyan manavipraha manuikhaka vipravi. The Lord says that this confidential yoga system was explained by me formally to the sun god, Vivasyan. There is, in every planet, there is a chief man or chief deity, and he has got different names. Just like in the heavenly planet, there is also chief man or chief deity who is called Indra, and this moon planet, he is called Chandra. The sun planet, he is called Vivasyan. This is the name of the chief man. Just like in your country, the chief man is called the president, or in other countries, in some countries the chief man is called the king or the president, like that. So this is post. You can also occupy that post. If you are qualified, you can become the president of your country. Similarly, the post of sun god, Vivasyan, also you can occupy, if you are qualified. You can occupy the post of Brahma. They are also living entities like us. Just like President Johnson is also a living entity like you, but he is elevated to that position for his quality. Similarly, if you attain such quality, you can become the chief deity or chief man in many other planets. Janti deva prata devan pitrim janti pitri prata. These things are described. So, when we speak, as Kṛṣṇa is saying, that imam vivastate yogam prattamana hamabhyam, that means this Bhagavad Gita was spoken long, long before. It is not that Arjuna is the first man who heard Bhagavad Gita from Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa says that this yoga system I spoke to Vivasyan, sun god. And Vivasyan manave praha, and the sun god explained this science to his son, Manu. Manu is the forefather of the mankind. In Sanskrit, from Manu, it has come Manushya or Manava, Manava Jati. in Sanskrit. The mono from man, and similarly in English also, from mono, the mankind or the man. The original word is mono. Here it is said that vivassan manovipraha. Formerly there were transportation service from one planet to another. That transportation service is still existing, but not with this planet, but higher planetary system. There is transportation service from one planet to another by different kinds of airplanes. And in the Siddha Loka, there is another planet which is called Siddha Loka. In the Siddha Loka, the living entities or human beings are so advanced in yogic practice that they can travel with this body from one planet to another. This description are there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto. And in this planet also, there are many yogis, even still existing. They can travel in this planet very swiftly by yogic power. There are many yogis who daily take birth in 4 places, in Prayag, in Rameswaram, in Jagannath Puri, and in Haridwar. Still there are some yogis in India. So they can transport themselves from one place to another very quickly. So there was no difficulty in communicating with Manu or Manu's son, Ikhaku. The communication was there. The radio system was so nice. The communication could be transferred from one planet to another. So here it is said that vivassan manovipraha manu ikhaka vidyati. First of all, this was spoken to sun god Vivassan, and Vivassan spoke to his son Manu, and Manu spoke to his son Ikha. This Maharaj Ikhaku happened to be ancient emperor on this planet, and in his dynasty Lord Ramchandra appeared, Maharaj Ikhaku. He is Kshatriya. These are all Kshatriya. Surya, Vivassan, is also Kshatriya. There are 2 Kshatriya families, one from the sun and one from the moon. Chandravansha and Suryavansha, they are existing. And the Indo-European stock, they are also coming from the Kshatriyas. From the history of Mahabharata, we can understand the Aryan family who migrated to Europe, they also belong to this Suryavansha or Chandravansha. Anyway, that is another department of knowledge. Here it is said that Kṛṣṇa says that I spoke this philosophy or this system or this doctrine of Bhagavad Gita, yoga. This is also yoga. This is bhakti-yoga. Bhakti-yoga is a direct method of approaching God. Imam vivasati yogam prastavan aham abhayam. This yoga is infallible. It is never lost. Abhayam. Abhayam means it has no annihilation, because it is transcendental. Anything spiritual, transcendental has no annihilation. Even matter has no annihilation. Modern science says conservation of the energy. So in God's creation, there is no question of annihilation. But the difference between matter and spirit is this, that matter the nature of matter is bhutta praliyat. It appears, is manifest. That's why you prepare a pot from clay and someday the pot will be annihilated, but it will go to the clay again, and again you can prepare from clay pot. Just like the garbages you are throwing daily, and again you are getting material from earth to manufacture so many things. So this is going. This karma yoga, this world is so made that the matter is there. You simply take it and transform the shape. That is your activity. So, avidya karma sangha anya titya shaktirishyati. In the Vishnu Puran, it is said that this material world is full of ignorance. Just like children, they make so many playthings from earth or clay and again break it. And this practice is very prominent in your country. I see in big cities like New York, Boston, very nice buildings, well built, with stone and iron, breaking it. And again, some skyscraper, and it is suggested in your almanac, world almanac, the next 100 years, that they will break all these buildings and they will go underground. Yes, because atomic age, so nobody will, I have read it in the world almanac. The prediction is that world, next 100 years, nobody will live on the surface of the earth. Everyone go somewhere. And when they want some pure air, they will come out to see what is this surface of the earth. This is suggested, you can read it. So, this nature of material world is like that. Punacharbita karvanana, chewing the chewed. You chew something, you throw it, and again somebody comes chewing it. Punacharbita karvanana. Bhagavad says that they are engaged with this material body and material activity. That's why you are changing. Bhutta paliyate. We are changing our body from one body to another. Similarly, as with the change of my body, my activities are also changed. The material is supplied by the material nature and my activities are different. In this way, I am going on. Bhutta pratyaya. But we cannot come to the conclusion that if there is any possibility for eternal life or eternal activity or no change, because we don't want change. Even at the time of death we are very sorry because we have to change the body. Even for changing one apartment for another apartment we are sorry. Therefore, for a sannyasi, it is recommended that he should not live more than 3 days in a place. Because as soon as he lives more than 3 days, he gets some attachment. So he is forbidden. But at the present moment, everything has changed. So, bhutta poliyat. We are in the existence of change, always transform from one platform to another, one form to another, one business to another. But our nature is eternal. Na hannate hannamane sarir. This is it. All this explained in the Bhagavad Gita. So how we can get that eternal life, eternal nature, eternal happiness and eternal knowledge, The Bhagavad Gita is meant for that purpose. If you are interested for eternity, then Bhagavad Gita is very convenient. So this science was spoken, first of all, to Vibhushan, the son of the sun god. He spoke to his son Manu, and Manu spoke to his son Ikhaku. And in the second verse, the Lord says, Evam parampara prapta. In this way, by disciplic succession, evam parampara prapta. That means the process of understanding this particular type of yoga, any understand from this, any yoga or this yoga is to understand from disciplic succession. Parampara. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarsayo vidu. Rajarsaya means all the names mentioned here, either Vibhushan or Manu or Ikhaku, they are all great emperors and kings. Formerly, the emperors and kings were family-wise. Just like, at least in England, we have got the king by family-wise. In every country, it was now monarchies have all this. So, these Kshatriyas, they are qualified. There is no question of democracy. At the present moment, by democracy, if somebody can somewhere or other acquire some vote, he becomes the chief man. But formerly, the practice was that a qualified man who is trained, a king, he was on the seat. They are called Rajas. Rajarsi means practically they were sages. Just like Maharaj Janak. There are many kings, ideal kings. Maharaj Yudhishthira, Maharaj Ramchandra, many kings. Even Maharaj Parikshit, 5,000 years before, he was so responsible king that when he was on tour, he saw that one cow was being attempted to be killed and the cow was crying. And at once the king stopped. Who are you? In my kingdom, a cow is crying, I shall immediately kill it. So the king was so responsible that even animal was not allowed to be dissatisfied. What to speak of man? So they were so responsible. They are called Rajas. Rajas. And it is particularly everything. Knowledge is meant for high class of men. Low class of men, what they will understand. So this Bhagavad Gita was spoken to the Rajas. The great kings were just like saints and sages. They were on the throne, but they are all, dedicated souls for the peace and prosperity of the people. That's like Maharaj Parikshit, when he was born, this Maharaj Parikshit is a, what is called, posthumous son, born after the death of his father. What is called, English one? Posthumous. So, his father died before his birth. In the battle of Kurukshetra, there are two parties, cousin brothers fighting. So, Maharaj Parikshit's father, Abhimanyu, the son of Arjuna, he was only 16 years old boy, but he was fortunately married. His marriage is also very peculiar. The daughter was, Uttara was offered to Arjuna. But Arjuna said that this girl I have treated her as my student. He was teacher. I cannot marry. She is my daughter. So then Arjuna said, I have got grown-up son. I arranged her marriage with my son. So Uttara was married with his son at the age of 16 years. The boy and the girl both were 16 years old and they were married. Fortunately, when the battle was going on, this boy was also called to fight and the girl was pregnant. But the boy never returned. He died in the battlefield. So Parikshit Maharaj remained in the womb of his mother. So after the battle of Kurukshetra, everyone died. That child was the only, descendant of the whole Kuru dynasty. So he was very carefully protected, and his attempt was made to kill this child also by the other party, by Kṛṣṇa saved him. Anyway, when the child was born, Maharaj Yudhishthira, his grandfather, 5 grandfathers, no son, only one grandson. So the system is, when a child is born, great Pandits and Brahmins are called to ascertain the future history of the child. Namakaran, what is called? There is a particular name. So Maharaj Yudhishthira was very much anxious to know how this child will be affectionate to his praja. Just see. The astrologer was speaking so many things about the child, that he will be like this, he will be like this, he will be like this. But he was anxious that whether he will be worthy of our dynasty. Because in this dynasty, the Sujavamsa, all the kings were just like father of the citizens, whether he will be like that or he will be exploited. Then the Brahmins had said, no, this child will be like this, and actually he was there. So these Rajarsi, they were great personalities. They are, although on the royal throne, they are not for luxury and tax collecting, no. They were just exactly like real fathers, always thinking of the happiness of the praja. It was actual democracy. There was committee of the Brahmins who guided the king, and the king and the control over the citizens by the guidance of the Brahmins. This was the system. So here it is said, evam parampara praptam imam rajasayu. This system for understanding Bhagavad Gita was correct. Kṛṣṇa says to Arjuna. Now, he says also, sakalena iha mahata yugan. Oh, the secret of this Bhagavad Gita to his son Manu. Manu spoke the secret of the Bhagavad Gita to his son Ikhaku. So now that system is now lost. Kalena mahata, by the great power. Kala means time. Time has got its influence, very great influence. Time's business is, whatever you make, time will try to kill it. That's you make a nice house, very nice house, but as soon as it becomes older, it is being killed. You have a very good body, nice body, but the influence of time is trying to kill it. That is the influence of time. So, in the Bhagavad Gita you also find that when Arjuna saw the universal form of Kṛṣṇa, he asked that, who are you? And Kṛṣṇa said in that universal form that I am Kala. I have come to kill. This was the answer. The Kala's business is, Kala, time, to kill. So here also it is said, Sakalena yaha, Kalena Mahata. Mahata is also Karan and Kalena, by the influence of, that is now law. Because it is a struggle. Our struggle for existence means we are trying to exist, but Kala is fighting to kill. That is doing. So Kala's business, time's business is to kill. But that system is now lost, is now killed by the influence of time. Sakalena yoganasta param. Then, what is to be done? Sa eva ayam maya te adya yoga prastha purata. So I have already begun to speak to you about this Bhagavad Gita. So it is not a new doctrine that I am presenting before you. That Saeva ayam maya te adya yoga prastha purata. Puratana means the same old system. Purana. Puratan means Purana. Purana means the old historical event. Purana. And this Mahabharata. Mahabharata is also history. Mahabharata, great history. And this Srimad Bhagavata is also called Mahapurana, the great history of olden days. So here also the same word is used, that Kṛṣṇa says, Sa eva ayam, the yoga system, the Bhagavad Gita yoga system which I am now speaking to you, is very old. How old you can imagine that I first spoke it to the sun god. If you calculate only the age of Mano, it is about 40 millions of years. To pick the minimum. So anyway, it is very, very old. Not that it is a doctrine which is presented just like in the modern educational system. Somebody is presenting some doctrine and he is getting the title doctor, some new thesis. It is not like that. There is nothing to be researched. Eternal knowledge has nothing to be researched. There is no question of research. It is already established that otherwise there is no meaning of eternity. So this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is eternal. It is not a product of modern research or doctrine. Purat, Saiva. Saiva aham maya te adya. Adya means today. Today I am speaking on the battlefield. Yoga prastha purata. Why you have selected me? Why you have selected me? And why this battlefield? You are speaking a philosophical doctrine and it's the science of God, and you are speaking to me. I am not a Vedanti, I am not even a Brahmin, I am not even sannyasi, ordinary grihastha. Of course I have got the privilege that I am your friend, so much so. Otherwise, yoga system is not to be spoken to me. Why you are speaking to me? This may be question. Why specifically it was spoken to Arjuna? The reply, bhakta. The only qualification is that you are my devotee. That's all. Therefore, from the very beginning, it is to be understood, one who is not a devotee of Kṛṣṇa, he cannot understand what is Bhagavad Gita. Those who are not devotees, there are different classes of men. Some of them are karmis, some of them are jnanis, some of them are yogis, and some of them are bhaktas. There are enlightened, cultivated persons that can be divided into four groups. Those who are ordinary men, They do not know anything except to keep this body comfortably. They're materialistic, more or less. In this life or next life, they simply want material comfort. They are called karmis. And jnanis, jnanis means they are disgusted with this karma. Because there is a time, a point when they become disgusted, just like the American young men. They are not disgusted with this material situation. So they are searching after knowledge. But unfortunately, this state is also not very enthusiastic, and there are many who are exploiting. But here is the knowledge. And that point comes when the karmis becomes disgusted, confused, because his spirit soul, he wants spiritual life. He cannot be happy with any amount of materialistic life. In our childhood, we read one poetry that a boy has brought one bird, and the bird is talking with the boy. My dear bird, you live with me, I shall give you very nice food, I shall talk with you, and so many things. But the bird says, no, I want to go out. I want to go out. No, I shall give you golden cake, you don't go away. So he says, no, I don't like golden cake. I want freedom. So that was that. So similarly, if a bird is kept in golden cage and his golden foodstuff is supplied to him, it is not happy. It is not possible. Similarly, we are spirit soul. Any amount of material happiness will never make me happy. That is a fact. But due to our insight, we do not know what is happiness. Nate vidu sarthagatim Vishnu. They do not know what is the ultimate aim of life, what is the goal of life. They are trying to be happy with this matter, and the material happiness means sex life, and they are trying to squeeze the sex life into the Janamai phanadidyahame visukham tuchham. That is not possible. That is not possible. Therefore, this Bhagavad Gita Yoga system, which is very old, 40 millions of years ago it was spoken, and before that it was also spoken. That is not stated here, because it is eternal. Abhaya, Puratan, old. So, who is qualified to understand Bhagavad Gita? You can understand. Those who are not bhaktas, they can also understand superficially. Just like one has got the bottle of honey. If one thinks that I have got the bottle of honey, let me lick up the bottle. So licking the bottle, what taste he will get? The bottle has to be opened and see what is there. And if a rascal thinks that I am licking this bottle, I am eating honey, I am tasting honey, he is a rascal number one. Simply, similarly, if one is not bhakta, if one is not Kṛṣṇa's devotee, that rascal cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. Plain, saying it is stated. First of all, try to become the devotee of Kṛṣṇa. Then try to understand what is Bhagavad Gita. Not by your scholarship or by your speculation. Then you will never understand Bhagavad Gita. If you have to understand Bhagavad Gita, then you have to understand by the process as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, not by your own mental speculation. This is the process of understanding. Bhaktosi means akhasi. Bhakta means, who is bhakta? Bhakta means one who has revived his eternal relationship with God. sarvapadhi vinirmukta. Now, in this body, I am thinking I am American. That's how long I am American. I am American so long this body is there. That's all. I am thinking I am Indian. I am thinking I am Brahmin. I am this or that. Whatever I may think. How long? So long this body is there. And the next life, if you get a dog body, then you think I am dog. If you get a cat body, then you think I am cat. So, bhakta means not that superficial relationship. My relationship with the society, family, country, or humanity, they are all superficial because my body is superficial. The real relationship with Kṛṣṇa, Mami Māṅsa Jiva Bhuta, all these living entities are my part and parcel. Kṛṣṇa claims. Sarva jonishu kaunteya, sammhavanti mutaya. In each and every species of life, as many forms as there are, they are all my part and parcel. Kṛṣṇa explains like that. So bhakta means when we revive our relationship, how I am connected with Kṛṣṇa, then he is bhakta. Then he is bhakta. That relationship is pervertedly reflected in this material world. That relationship. As somebody is related with Kṛṣṇa as master and servant. That is reflected here also. There is master and servant. But both of them are cheating one another. The master is trying to exploit the servant, and the servant is trying to exploit the master. They are also forming unions, how to exact money from the capitalist, and the capitalist is trying to exact this and labor from the labor. So here, that master and servant is there, but both of them are cheaters and cheaters. So, if we really want to be master and servant, the supreme master is Kṛṣṇa, and you engage yourself in his service, you'll never be cheated. You'll never be cheated. You want to love, you love Kṛṣṇa as your husband or lover, you'll never be cheated. You love children, you love Kṛṣṇa as your child, just like Dasdamai accepted Kṛṣṇa as his child, you'll never be cheated. So, the same relationship is there, but it is perverted reflection and there is no happiness. But when we become bhakta or establish one relationship with Kṛṣṇa, that's like Arjuna. Arjuna is bhakta. What kind of bhakta? Bhaktosi means sakha. Sakha says, you are bhakta at the same time, my friend. So to become bhakta means either you become a friend of Kṛṣṇa, or a servant of Kṛṣṇa, or a lover of Kṛṣṇa, or a father of Kṛṣṇa, or mother of Kṛṣṇa. In this way there are so many. Or you become enemy of Kṛṣṇa, just like Hiranyakashipu. So, this is the process of understanding Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, I am speaking from this fourth chapter. The secret of understanding Bhagavad Gita is here, and if you follow this principle, just like when you purchase one bottle of medicine from the drug shop, there is dose. This medicine is to be taken by this dose. If you follow the direction of the bottle label, then you get benefit. Similarly, here is the direction. Evam parampara praptam, you have to understand Bhagavad Gita from the disciplic succession, and that is means one who is devoted. Devotion. So devote, this disciplic succession and devote. Otherwise there is no point. If the disciplic succession is something else than devotional service, then he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. There are many practical experiences and so many scholars' books we have studied. Their commentary is all nonsense because they are not bhaktas. They try to understand Bhagavad Gita simply by their academic qualification. That is not possible. That is not possible. If somebody is trying to Bhagavad Gita by this academic qualification, then what is the value of this academic qualification? It has no value. In the presence of spiritual science, it is a different thing. It is to be understood in a different process. So, we shall discuss with Bhagavad Gita how Arjuna understood. If this is a clear fact mentioned here, that before meeting Arjuna, the science of Bhagavad Gita was lost. It is clearly said. Sakale neha yoganasta param. That was lost. Although it is eternal, it still, because the parampara system or the disciplic succession broke, therefore the real meaning or real purpose of Bhagavad Gita was not received, it was broken. Nasta means the parampara system broke. Therefore, Kṛṣṇa is appointing Arjuna to understand because he is devotee and friend. So, if you accept Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna understood it, then you are directly hearing from Kṛṣṇa. That is the problem. Thank you. Any questions? The same thing. That same thing. In the 4 verses, Lord Kṛṣṇa informed about the Bhagavad Gita. Jnanam me paramam guhyam jad vijnana samanvitam. The same thing. When Kṛṣṇa says either to Brahma or Arjuna, he says the same thing. He does not change. Yes. Yes, that is also bona fide. There is no difference between the disciplic succession from Brahma or disciplic succession from Arjuna. There is no difference. Because the message is the same. Here nasta means that parampara is nasta. The disciplic succession was broken. It is not found somebody who is coming in that disciplic succession. The disciplic succession either from Brahma, there are 4 disciplic succession of the devotees, the Brahma Sampradaya, the Rudra Sampradaya, the Sri Sampradaya and the Kumar Sampradaya. So they are all the same. Mr. Balakrishna, you have got any question? No. Mr. Mukherjee. Dr. Murthy. No? Yes.
The other systems in the Bhagavad Gita, karma and jnana, is it karma turns into karma yoga, jnana turns into jnana yoga with bhakti, and they can't be...
Yes, when you add this word yoga, that means bhakti. Yoga means bhakti. Somebody is addicted to this material activity. So they are advised to act in the terms of karma yoga. So what is that karma yoga? The karma yoga is somebody is described in Bhagavad Gita, jat karosi. Whatever you are doing, Kṛṣṇa karma darpana. You are working, all right. What you have earned, $1,000. Give me. Are you prepared? Kṛṣṇa is asking, Kṛṣṇa karma darpana. So if anyone is agreed, yes, Kṛṣṇa, here is the money for you, then he is a karma yogi. Otherwise, a karmi. And the difference between karma yogi and karmi means he has to suffer the result, good or bad. And karma yogi has nothing to suffer. Because he is doing everything for Kṛṣṇa. Just like Arjuna, in the beginning, he considered that if I kill my kinsman and my grandfather, I will be sinful, yes. But the same thing acted under the direction of Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa wanted. So he is free. So karma yogi means he is free from the reaction of activity. This is karma yogi. Similarly, jnana yogi. Somebody is addicted to work very hard. Somebody is addicted to speculate philosophically. So, for the speculator, Kṛṣṇa says, Bahanam janmanam ante, jnanamanman prapaddati. The persons who are addicted to speculative knowledge, after many, many births, he comes to the understanding, Vasudeva sarvamiti. Vasudeva, Kṛṣṇa is everything. That means termination of knowledge. That is jnana yoga. He by his research work, he tries to understand what is Kṛṣṇa by philosophy or by science or anything, by chemistry, by physics. That is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Atap pumshan dijasveshta varnasama vibhadata sanusthitasya dharmasya samsiddhi haritosana. Sanusthitasya dharmasya samsiddhi haritosana. It doesn't matter in whatever activities you are engaged, but if you want to know whether your engagement is leading to perfection, then this is the test of perfection. What is that test of perfection? Samsiddhi haritosana. Whether by your work the Supreme Personality Godhead is satisfied. Just like Arjuna did. Arjuna in the beginning, he wanted to satisfy himself by not fighting. And he fought to satisfy Kṛṣṇa. That is perfection. Samsiddhi haritosana. Yes.
And what is the meaning of this sloka? Karmani yo karman, kama karmani chapare, atma sangama yogasam, yuvati, jnana.
Yes. What is the number? Yes. Sarvani indriyani karmani, prana karmani chapare, atma sangama yogagno, juvati jnanaditi. Now, you have studied, what is your understanding?
I don't understand it.
Oh.
I want to know.
Sarvani indriyani karmani atma sanjoma. The yoga, the hatha yoga system means to control the senses and control the mind. Sarvani karmani, indriyani, karmendriya. The yoga system, its basic principle is to stop the material activity. Sarvani karmani, sarvani indriyani karmani, pana karmani, prana karmani chapare. There are the controlling of different airs passing within this body, apan vayu, pana vayu, prana vayu. That is the yoga system, controlling the breathing. Atma sankha. The whole thing is for atma sankha, for controlling the mind and sense. If one is unable to control the mind and senses, then he is simply wasting time. And that Atma Samjha can be directly practiced by bhakti-yoga. What is that? Now, the same example can be given. That Arjuna was a fighter. So, in the beginning, he was considering whether I shall fight or not. That is also Atma Sangha. But actually Atma Sangha was when he did not fight for his sense gratification. That is. Similarly, when we engage our senses, because senses means wants of activity, just like our eyes. The eyes want to see something beautiful. The tongue wants to taste something very sweet. The ear, it wants to hear something very melodious. In this way, we have got our different senses. But the yoga system is trying to stop them. Let us try to understand. Now, here the bhakti-yoga system is that if you stick to the hearing of Hare Kṛṣṇa and the music, melodious music like Kharta, then naturally you become detestful for hearing other songs. So this is practically Indriya Sangha. The bhakti process is that sarvapadhi vinimuktam tatparatena nirmalam. You cannot stop the senses to work. That is the negative process. Because the senses are meant for working. Therefore, you have to give better engagement to the senses. That will be explained it is already explained in the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. Param drishtya nivartate. Param drishtya nivartate. If you force one to stop, it is very difficult. Therefore so many yogis also fail. Just like Vishwamitra Muni. By force, you are trying to control his senses. But as soon as the sense got opportunity, one Manoka, a heavenly society girl, came before him, he became captive. These examples are there. And the child was born, Shakuntala, you know everyone. So, he was a great yogi. He also failed, because it was artificially being tried. But there is another instance, Thakur Haridas. He was also enticed by a prostitute at night, but he turned the prostitute to be devout. At night she came, she was induced by some of Haridas' opponent party, and he came very beautifully dressed at night, and Haridas Thakur said, how you have come here? Oh, you are so nice, so beautiful, so young, so I have come to embrace you like that, whatever. All right, please sit down. I shall fulfill your desire. Let me finish my chanting, then we shall enjoy life. So, she was chanting, the morning came, so the prostitute became disturbed, so it is now. All right, I could not finish my chanting, so come this night, I shall fulfill. In this way, second night, third night, when she came, she surrendered. Sir, I came with this purpose, please save me, this is my business. So Thakur Haridas told, yes, I know that, but because you came to me, therefore I stayed for 3 days to purify you. Now I am glad that you are purified. You sit down here, chant Hare Kṛṣṇa, I am going from this place. But this bhakta yogi, he conquers. This is karmendriya. If you want to force your senses to stop work, it is very difficult. But if you engage your senses for transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord, it will be automatically stop. That is it. Atma Samyama Juhati Jnana. That jnana means knowledge. That is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Bhunam Janmanante, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. If that stage of knowledge is achieved, that Kṛṣṇa or Vasudeva is everything, and I am eternal servant of Kṛṣṇa, that is perfection of Gyan. So when that perfection of Gyan comes, then he engages his senses, Rishikena Rishikesa Sevaram Bhakti Vicchya. When your senses are purified and you engage them in the service of the Supreme Lord Rishikesh, the master of the senses, that is kalpa. That is the highest perfection. So we have to engage our senses, sarvani indriyani karmani. By understanding, by coming to the and with a mature platform of knowledge, if you engage your senses in the Supreme, that is real controlling sense. Artificially, if we want to control our senses, it is very difficult. So any other question? We are inviting that you come and let us discuss. This is a very great science, Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and it is the necessity for the human being. When there is opportunity, this temple is here, we are opening different centers. Why? Just to give opportunity to the people to understand this science of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. It is not a bluff. We have got authorities behind this movement. Whole Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, we are supported. It is nothing. The same thing. Just like Arjuna says, Kṛṣṇa says, that Yoga Pratta Purata. Purata means very old. But the time is so cruel that sometimes it is just like by time, sometimes it, clear sky is over cloud, covered with cloud. But that does not stay. Similarly, this cloud of ignorance at the present moment, it will not stay. As soon as people are anxious to get this knowledge, the ignorance will go away. Jnana-dikita. That Jnana-dikita, that is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Tesam evanukampartham aham अज्ञानजं तमो नाशयामि आत्मभावस्थो ज्ञानदीपेन भासते. Yes.
And the particular difference on the second week. And the chapter is social practice.
47.
47.
Yes. That is the highest perfection of yoga. Eh? तपस्वी अधिको योगी ज्ञानी भोपी मतो धिका कर्मिक भ्रष्ट अधिको योगी तस्मात् योगी भवान. This yogi means bhakta yogi. Bhakta yogi. Yogi naam of and here he recommends that you become a yogi. And who is the perfect yogi? Topmost yogi. That is explained in the next verse. Yogi naam of sarvesam madgata antarasana sadhyavan bhajati jumam same yukta tamo. He is the head. This is yoga, who is always constantly thinking of Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa. He is the first class. And that is the conclusion of all that. Yes? Manmana bhavad bhakta madhyadi mangalam stu. It is very simple thing.
But it is good in the sixth chapter.
Everywhere the same thing is. Everywhere the same thing. But it is concluded. Sarva guhyatamam. I am speaking to you in the 18th chapter. Just open it, 18th chapter. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyam. Sunume paramangam. Most confidential, I am speaking to you. The most confidential and topmost of knowledge. Why? Is toasting. Because you are mine. The same thing. Is toasting. I want your welfare. Is toasting me. Beloved. Because you are my devotee, so I want that you be benefited. That is Kṛṣṇa. As soon as you become devotee, bhaktosi priyosi. Just like here also, if you have got a very intimate friend, he wants how you will be happy. So beloved, istosi me, beloved. Tatova khyami. Tejan tamake mudh. I am not speaking to the rascal. I am speaking to you because you are my most confidential friend. What is that? Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyadiman namaskuru mami vaishyasi satyam te pratijani sriyasi. You are my dear friend. Sarvadharman parityajya. Whatever I have spoken, they are all nonsense. There is sense, but the truth which I am speaking to you just now, just become my devotee. Just think of me. Just offer your obeisance unto me. Just work for me. This is the most confident. But those who are not able to understand, they are not to be taught. They are to be instructed that you become a yogi, to practice your giving, to sit like this, to sit like that. Because he is unable to understand. Therefore it is said, idantate no atapaskar. One who has not undergone severe austerity, don't speak this final knowledge. He will not understand, he will misunderstand. Just like scholars, like Radha Kṛṣṇa misunderstand. Because he has no tapasya. It requires tapasya to understand this philosophy. Therefore Bhagavad says, tapodivyam putraka, dina suddheta satyam. My dear boys, just accept austerity, volunteer, restraint. So these boys, they are undergoing tapasya. Don't you think that in this country they are giving up meat eating, giving up all kinds of intoxicants including coffee and tea. They are giving up illicit sex life. Then you see this is not tapasya. Great tapasya, at least for this country. So idamtina tapasya. Without undergoing austerity, this science is difficult to do. That's what is the word. Idamtina tapasya. Now the people ask us, Swamiji, why you make condition? The condition, if I don't make condition, he will not be able to understand it. But I don't make condition in the beginning. I invite everyone to come and chant Hare Krishna. Then he automatically accepts all conditions. This is so nice. Because he becomes purified. When he is a little bit purified, he immediately accepts all conditions. So, those who are not tapasvi or voluntarily accepting some inconvenience. Suppose I am habituated to drink something, liquor or something. If I am stopped, there is inconvenience. But if somebody accepts voluntarily, yes, for Kṛṣṇa's sake, I shall accept it. Oh, that is tapasya. Just like Arjuna, he was very much painful to kill his kinsman. But for Kṛṣṇa's sake he agreed, that is tapasya. It was not very happy for him to kill his grandfather and nephews. But for Kṛṣṇa's he accepted, that is tapasya. So people cannot understand how he was a fighter, how he is a tapasya. But that is anything which you do not like, but for Kṛṣṇa's sake, if you accept, that is tapasya. Because the central point is you love Kṛṣṇa, therefore you are sacrificed. The point is that for Kṛṣṇa's sake, you are voluntarily accepting this inconvenience. That is tapasya. And as soon as you become tapasvi, your whole existential condition becomes purified. Tapodit brahmajina suddhita satya jasmad brahma sukam sadam anantam. So there is a link between one Vedic literature and another. There is no contradiction. But different things are there for different classes of men. But this is for the highest class. Bhakti POC. That is the highest position. Yes.
What is the value of accepting this sacrifice or these dreams?
For better benefit.
They're not possibly interpreted as a kind of masochism.
What is it?
As a kind of masochism, perhaps?
Masochism, what is this?
Addiction and voluntary addiction.
Self-inflicted pain.
Huh?
Self-inflicted pain. I want to hurt myself.
No. It is not like this. For just like if you are diseased, doctor says that you don't eat this. So that is not self-inflicted. The idea is that just to become pure from your disease, you accept the instruction of the physician. So unnecessarily, that is also condemned. If you simply fast unnecessarily, that is condemned. No. For a better purpose, param vishtanivatva, yeah, you can take some, accept some painstaking. A better purpose. If there is no purpose, what is the use of painstaking? Samaya vai kevalam. That is simply labor, that's all. So, here everything is recommended for understanding Kṛṣṇa. That is not very difficult. By Kṛṣṇa's grace, it is not at all difficult. But it appears to be difficult. for a person who is accustomed to do such things. Otherwise it is not a gift. Yes.
But you're suggesting, I think, foregoing not just that which is received, but also that which one loves, I think you mentioned. And somehow one should know that one loves something, and yet despite that, give it up.
Yes, but if you love something, and for that love's sake, if you give up something, that is also taken in account, that you are doing the same thing on account of love. The whole philosophy is for a better position. You can accept some voluntary incontinence, for better.
Now, we're performing bhakti-yoga. We're performing bhakti-yoga. Now, you stated in the lecture that I was performing bhakti-yoga is the internal activity of the spirit soul, whereas jnana-yoga is the activity of the mind, and karma-yoga is the activity of the body and the senses. Now, in our experience of bhakti-yoga, I don't exactly understand the activity of the spirit soul because it seems like I'm performing action.
Just give me some practical example.
What
you are doing.
Preparing for shada.
Is it not bhakti yoga?
No, I'm not. This is what I don't understand.
So why don't you understand? You are prasadam, you are not cooking for yourself. You are cooking for Kṛṣṇa.
Yeah, what I'm doing is that we're performing action with our body.
And first of all, try to understand this cooking is all. If you are cooking for Kṛṣṇa, that is bhakti yoga. And if you are cooking for yourself, for your sense gratification, that is karma. The same process. Why don't you take the example of Arjuna? For himself, he was considering whether I shall fight or not. But as soon as he understood Bhagavad Gita, he decided, Kṛṣṇa wants it to fight. That is bhakti yoga. So you can perform bhakti yoga by fighting, by cooking, by going to the office, and if that purpose is for Kṛṣṇa, that is bhakti yoga. Is it clear?
Karma yoga.
Karma means sense gratification, and bhakti yoga means Kṛṣṇa satisfaction.
Karma yoga.
Karma yoga means just to dovetail your karma with yoga principles, to arrive to the bhakti yoga.
To eventually arrive.
Yes,
Okay.
that is karma.
Okay.
That is not bhakti yoga. But the aim is to arrive at the bhakti yoga. Is it clear? Yes, sir. Yes, try to understand in this way. It's very good.
The same thing with the hatha yoga. The same thing.
No, hatha yoga is not bhakti yoga.
No, not bhakti yoga, but it
Hatha yoga is the process for making the mind under control. If it is properly performed, but generally it is in the name Hatha yoga. Several times in the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated of Hatha yoga how it is to be performed, that you have to perform in a sacred place, alone, in a secluded place, sitting like this, seeing like this, or eating like this. Who is following those regulations? Nobody is following. So there simply it is going on under the name of yoga, but actually nobody is following the principle. But that is difficult. That is not possible in this age. Now suppose if you have to perform Hatha yoga in a secluded place, in a sanctified place and alone, who is fulfilling these three conditions? Ekasi. Jatadikti Atma. Ekasi. Ekasi means alone. Suchau Desi. Suchau Desi means very sanctified place. Samogriva. This body and the neck and the feet. Feet means his head. This should be in straight line. And you cannot close your eyes fully. You have to half close and see the top of your nose. In this way, sit down always. Never go to sleep. I have seen in my childhood yogi in Calcutta, Karighar, you are 24 hours sitting. When you are feeling uncomfortable, you had a wooden bar like this, but you was never sleeping. That is yoga practice. So who is going to do that? It is very difficult. Therefore Arjuna said, Kṛṣṇa, you are recommending this yoga practice, but it is impossible. 5,000 years ago, a person like Arjuna declined. Oh, it is not possible for him. So many rascals are there trying that yoga. That is not possible. Yes.
When to know that whether my karma or my work is for satisfying himself, how it is going to the having some Kṛṣṇa. I suggest, or I think this way is to connect Kṛṣṇa to devotion. To connect Kṛṣṇa to devotion. Then mention law. That whatever is doing.
Yes, first of all you have to connect yourself with Kṛṣṇa, then you act according to the direction of Kṛṣṇa.
And the connection will be through the devotion.
Certainly.
Devotion.
Yes.
And not that we were suggested a minute ago as the animosity. That is also very difficult, like
That is also under the Krishna's direction, because when they are condemned to go to the material world, they pray, how we shall be delivered. Then Krishna gave him direction that if you treat me as enemy, then free.
You will come quickly.
Yes, quickly. And if you treat me as friend, then it will take a long time. They prefer, yes, we shall treat you like an enemy, because our enemy is to come quickly.
But to understand the process, the relationship.
So that means he is following Krishna's direction, that's all.
So
He doesn't mind that I am going to be enemy of Krishna. The principle is that he is following. If Krishna says that you become my enemy, so I can become his enemy. That is bhakti-yoga. Yes, I want to satisfy Krishna. Just like a master is asking servant that you knock me. Yes, he is knocking that. So that is service. The others may see, oh, he is knocking and he is saying I am serving. What is this? He is knocking. But master wants that you knock me. That is service. Service means that you obey the order of the master. It doesn't matter what it is. There is a very nice example in Lord Chaitanya's life, that he has his personal servitor, Govinda. So after Lord Chaitanya would take prasadam, and then Govinda would take. So one day, Lord Chaitanya, after taking prasadam, he laid down himself on the threshold. What is called threshold? Door. Door. So Govinda crossed him. Govinda used to massage his leg after when he was taking rest. So Govinda crossed Lord Chaitanya and massaged his leg. Then Lord Chaitanya was sleeping, and say after half an hour when he got, he said, Govinda, you are not taking your prasadam as yet? I know, sir. Why? I cannot cross you. You are lying down there. Sorry, how you can? I came cross. How? You first of all came cross and why not going crossing? Now that I came to serve you. And now I cannot cross to be take my prasadam. That is not my duty. That is for myself. It is for you. So for Krishna's pleasure, you can become his enemy, you can become his friend, you can become anything. That is bhakti-yoga. Because your aim is how to please Krishna. And as soon as the point comes to please your senses, then you come to material immediately. Krishna bhuliya jiv bhogavan chakare, pasete maya tare japotiya dhare. As soon as we forget Krishna and we want to do things for our sense gratification, that is maya. And as soon as you give up the process of sense gratification and do everything for Krishna, that is liberation.
One more thing, I want to know whether the devotion of Hanuman was bhakti-yoga, because
Yes, certainly.
because he also saw the Chaturpuja Narayana and Ramakrishna told him by his teacher.
That doesn't matter. But his activities were bhakti-yoga. He set fire to the house and capital of Ravana. That is bhakti-yoga. People will say how it is by setting fire in others' house, bhakti-yoga. But I practically speak, what Hanuman's business was, just to punish Ravana, that's all. That is bhakti-yoga, and he was considered to be the greatest devotee of Ramachandra. He never studied Vedanta Sutra because he was animal. So he had no opportunity, but still he became the greatest devotee, Ram Bhakta. Why? By setting fire to the Ravana's house, that's all. These are practical examples. By setting fire to the house of Ravana, he became the great devotee of Ravana. And similarly, the same case is with Arjuna. Arjuna also fought. He killed his kinsman and he became a great bhakta. Somebody in Bengal, some gentleman, criticized that the Lord Chaitanya introducing this bhakti-yoga as what is called effeminated the population of Bengal. And then you do not know what is bhakti-yoga.
I was telling about Dr. Rupa Prakash that other book.
Eh?
I was suggesting about the publication of Dr. who published the book on life of Sri Chaitanya. That book?
I do not know this Dr. Rakul Prakash Sen.
I didn't see the book. I heard about it.
So, we are not concerned with any scholarly book. We are concerned with whether it is written by a devotee.
That's the fundamental thing.
Yes. We don't care for any scholarly, right? Because they will commit mistakes. Rava bhaktasya kuto mahat guna. One who is not devotee, he cannot have any good quality. Rejected immediately.
So what did he conclude? Did he prove that it was a
Huh? Yes, I told that you do not know bhakti-yoga.
No.
The two greatest fights in India, Ramayana fight and Mahabharata fight, was conducted by Vaishnava, Arjuna and Hanuman. Therefore you do not know what is bhakti-yoga, I told you. The bhakta, for Krishna's sake, he can do anything. But by nature he is perfect. He does not commit any violence. That's why you see Arjuna's character. He was so much harassed by the opposite party. His wife was insulted. His kingdom was, by unlawful means taken away. They were sent to forest for 13 years. After so many troubles, he never tried to retaliate. He said, all right, Kṛṣṇa, I don't want my kingdom. I cannot fight with my kingdom. This is Vaishnava nature. But as soon as he understood, so this fight is liked by Kṛṣṇa, oh, then I am committing this step. I must wait. It is not his cowardness. He was quite competent to fight, but out of his Vaishnava compassion he was avoiding it in the beginning. But when he understood that my master, Kṛṣṇa, he wants it, he gave up his decision. The Vaishnava, that is Vaishnavism, devotee means he can act anything and everything for the Lord. That is bhakti-yoga. But under the direction, not whimsical. Yes. Either Arjuna or Hanuman, he did not set fire to the Ravan's house whimsically. Under the direction of Rama. Arjuna also fought under the direction of Kṛṣṇa. Similarly, we have to take the direction of Kṛṣṇa or his representative. Then it is nice.
And in Mahabharata we see Hanuman is also in the Raja.
Yes, he is giving so much respect.
Krishna himself is the carrier, the fighter and
Just see how much honor was given to Hanuman. Why? Because he is a devotee. Like a personality like Arjuna, he is keeping on his head the flag marked to Hanuman. Hanuman was a great devotee and fighter, he is helping. This is all right. Any other question? Dr. Murthy, you have no question? That's all. Very good. Prabhasu Babu?